We all know crashes involving commercial motor vehicles are on the rise, and I've got bombshell news on that front coming soon, so make sure you subscribe to this channel to get the video when it drops. But in this video, we're going to look at what I believe is one of the scariest truck crashes caught on camera this year. And why do I say scariest? Well, it's because the driver of this truck appears to have zero control of the outcome. He was simply at the wrong place at the wrong time. And I believe what happened to this driver is every truck driver's worst nightmare, because it could happen to any of you, no matter how safe you are, no matter how defensively you're driving, or how much you're paying attention. This could happen to anyone at any time, any place. Let's get into the footage and you can let me know if you agree. Welcome to Driveline. I'm Eric and I've driven nearly 1 million safe miles. I served on the driver advisory board for the largest refrigerator carrier in America, and I own a small fleet of trucks. Here on this channel, I apply my experience to bringing you a fresh perspective on freight, logistics, and transportation. When it comes to my record in trucking, I'm pretty proud of it. I've worked really hard to keep everything intact, everything smooth. I've never been late for a pickup or a delivery, other than weather, of course. And on my safety record, I'm right up there knocking on 1 million safe miles. And I drive almost exclusively at night, which means I kind of only can see the road, and I'm very attentive to what's happening around me because there's not a whole lot of distractions, but it's always on my mind. The thing that I fear the most, and that's everyone else. Now, this video is a few weeks old. A lot of you have probably seen it. There's a lot of stories out there in the news about it. But it's just, there's so many crash videos that we've seen over the last year or two. It's really on the rise. And like I said earlier, we're going to get into some topics and stories about that in the coming videos. But this one just really stuck with me, because if you just really zoom in and look at this video, really pay attention to what's happening here, I think, it's always hard to armchair quarterback, but I think it's safe to say this driver just really couldn't do anything to mitigate this scenario. And I can see myself or any of you, unfortunately, being in this exact situation. And like I said, I believe it's our worst nightmare. So let's get into the video. Okay, so we got the stage set here. I think right now, probably some of you are like, oh yeah, I've seen this. So we're going to take a look at it at just normal speed for those of you who haven't seen it. And if you have, we're going to slow it down and maybe even zoom in a bit to really kind of look at what happened here. So I'm just going to let it play through, see if you can pick out what happened if you haven't seen this yet, and then we'll zoom in and take a closer look. And then just boom, flames. That is suboptimal, I think would be an understatement. So I want to go back at this with this frame here, or at least this size of the frame, and I'm going to go through it really slow here. You'll notice this vehicle up here, it's a passenger vehicle, four-wheeler, gets a little swirly here, hits the median, boom, and then jerks right straight into the tractor. Look at that. You see that? Right there. Right into the tractor. Now, I've run this through my head 100 times. The truck is maintaining a lane. See right here? Now, it looks like he notices this. See, it looks like the four-wheeler is kind of coming up close to the truck. So he's moving over a little bit to the right to give him some space right here. See this? So the car is either not paying attention, or the driver of the car is either not paying attention on his phone. Who knows what's going on in there? But the truck driver saw something, and he was moving over to the right because he noticed that car was getting into his lane. But he's maintaining his lane. The car goes over and hits that median, and then boom. I'm guessing probably what happened here is the car hit him right in the fuel tank. That would be my guess. Because of the flames and everything, there was probably ruptured fuel already at the point that the truck is going to go over the edge of this bridge. But right there, you guys, I mean, look, this guy's just out trying to make some money to feed his family, driving down the interstate like so many of us do, right? paying attention, doing everything he's supposed to do in his lane, minding his own business, and this happens. There is nothing I can imagine that this driver could do to mitigate this. I've played this through my head over and over and over again, and I just don't see anything this driver could do to mitigate this. I mean, if he's fully loaded, if he's 80,000 pounds, you can get on your brakes, you can do everything you can on that front, but you're not going to be able to slow down enough or speed up enough. If you try to jerk over into that right lane, you may end up in a jackknife situation, or you may end up in a situation you're in that he ends up in anyway. So really, there's not really anything he can do other than take that direct hit. So, guys, this is just, to me, this is a truck driver's worst nightmare. Now, if you drive a four-wheeler, there's a couple things I'd like to note here. Now, I'm not blaming this car right here or this white vehicle because they're behind this guy, but I want to tell you guys, like, if you don't drive a truck, if you drive a regular passenger car, do not linger next to a truck like this. Look, I'm a truck driver. I own a couple trucks. When I'm out there in a car, I will not linger next to a truck. You don't know when a tire is going to blow or something's going to fall off of that truck. It doesn't mean that the driver has to be a bad driver to cause a really bad scenario for you. But in addition to that, you don't want to have something happen with your car where you end up underneath the trailer or into the fuel tank of a tractor trailer combination that weighs 80,000 pounds. This is just a side note. It's not related to this, but I'm just saying, if you don't drive a truck and you see this, either get past us or stay behind us. Don't linger next to a truck. I mean, I know in certain scenarios, there's just a lot of traffic and there's not really anything you can do about it. But this is one thing that just drives me crazy, especially at night, when it's just me and maybe one other car, one other truck at 2 o'clock in the morning, and a car will just come and just hang out next to me for 5 or 10 minutes. And it's like, I got to get on my brakes and just let them go. Cause it's like, don't stay next to me like that. There's too much opportunity for something to go wrong. But in this scenario, man, this is just awful, you guys. I mean, now for the record, the driver did survive this. In fact, I don't even think there were any serious injuries here. I don't know how everybody walked from this. But not only did everybody walk from this, the driver of the passenger vehicle fled the scene. And there's more on that we'll talk about here in a second. But the driver fled the scene, but the professional driver of the truck survived, no serious injuries, which is miraculous. And I'm so happy to hear that because, again, this was through no fault of the driver here. And in my view, is just worst case scenario, my biggest fear of something that I just have no control over, didn't have any cause in, and it's just being at the wrong place at the wrong time. Now let's talk about this driver of the passenger vehicle and what we know so far. Here we've got, now this is Google, so you got to kind of take it with a grain of salt, but in all the reports I've seen on this, I mean, they're all kind of giving us the same information. So, yes, there was a serious semi-truck crash near the Veneta exit on the Will Rogers Turnpike in Oklahoma, which occurred around June 19th. Around June 19th. Was it on June 19th or was it not? Around June 19th? Here's what is known about the incident. And this is as of today, July 5th. I tried to find information on the immigration status. And even today, if someone knows more about this, please leave me a comment. But even today, I'm not able to find anything that is confirming that his immigration status was illegal, but I think we can kind of make some assumptions here as we get into this. So details of the crash, a passenger car driver, Nurbin Hernandez Guzman, lost control and hit a semi-truck. The semi went off a bridge on the Highway 60 and caught fire. Injuries. The semi-truck driver sustained minor injuries while Hernandez Guzman was not injured and no fatalities were reported. The passenger car driver Hernandez Guzman left the scene but was found and arrested in a wooded area later. He faces charges including leaving the scene, reckless driving, obstruction, driving without a license, and lack of insurance. Immigration status. The Craig County Sheriff's Office reported that Hernandez Guzman is being held for Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. The search results do not explicitly state he is an illegal immigrant, but indicate an ICE hold. Okay. I mean, look, again, and I went to the county website. I couldn't find any updates to this. Look, if ICE has got a hold on Mr. Hernandez Guzman, then it's very likely that, that they, especially now, because it's July 5th now, as the time of making this video, you guys won't have it until July 7th. Members, you'll have it tonight or tomorrow, but regular subscribers, you guys will have it on the 7th. But if they've had him for almost 2 weeks and he's still on ICE hold, then I think it's safe to assume that he's probably an illegal immigrant. Guys, I mentioned this not too long ago. This is a big, big problem, and this is something that we're going to get into more in future videos. So I think my final thought here, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about some of those coming videos, is that, I had a conversation with drivers on driverdiscord.com about this not too long ago, and really not, and there's some that have been in driving for 15, 20 years. There's a couple million milers in this conversation. It was a voice chat that was happening on our Discord server. And I think it was kind of just, everybody just kind of embraced that there's nothing really that this driver could have done. If you have ideas on something that could have been done to maybe potentially mitigate this, leave a comment down below. I'm not like trying to be the know-all end-all of this. I don't know. I'm just telling you, I just don't know how this could be avoided. But it's just one of those reminders to all of us that you just cannot, and to this driver out there, if he sees this video, I'm not in any way alleging that he wasn't paying attention, but I'm just saying to all of you, just let this be a constant reminder to you that you cannot take your eyes off your surroundings at any point. You cannot be distracted at any point when you're in a 80,000-pound vehicle that is in this kind of, if you're in this kind of scenario, he's just very fortunate. And we just have to be very careful. And then to close this up, I want to talk about some of the coming videos. I'm currently talking with someone who is really getting into some analytics and looking at a lot of the fraud that's happening in the freight industry, specifically in trucking. I think it's going to absolutely rip your lid back. You're not going to believe this. It very much involves illegal immigration. It very much involves fraudulent use of MC, DOT numbers, all kinds of carrier fraud, all kinds of broker fraud. It's unbelievable. And the FMCSA is doing nothing. In fact, the FMCSA is being used to create this scenario. So I'm hoping to have her on in the next few videos. If not, I'll certainly be able to take her reports that she's providing, and she's kind of creating some summaries. So I'll be able to introduce her findings to you, but she's really getting into the data of this and really analyzing long track trends and finding where this has really been ramping up over the last couple years. And she's taking that and layering it onto the concept and the theory that what's happening there is why we're seeing an increase in all of these truck related crashes over the last couple years. Because I think we can all agree there definitely are many, many more than we would typically see over the last couple years. So, all right, guys, that's it for this video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed what you saw. Subscribe if you haven't already. Be safe, make good decisions, and as always, drive to thrive. Talk to y'all soon.